Good evening, and welcome to the first ever virtual Harvesting Hope wine tasting event to benefit the Greater Minneapolis Crisis Nursery. We are excited for everything this evening has in store for our viewers. We are getting ready to kick off our wine tasting segment with Master Sommelier Andrea Robinson, coming to you live this evening from Napa Valley. Andrea is a world-renowned master sommelier who takes the seemingly daunting subject of food and wine and simplifies it for all to understand and enjoy. Andrea is one of only 23 female master sommeliers in the world. She is a graduate and former dean of the French Culinary Institute and the winner of 3 James Beard Awards. In addition, Andrea has been widely featured across leading national television networks and publications as the go-to expert for all things wine. We are so very lucky to have her joining us tonight. So without further ado, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Andrea Robinson.
Well, hello there. It's Andrea Robinson, and I hear you saying go, or I see you saying go, but I think great. Wonderful to be with you all. I'm sorry I took a little bit of a hiccup there to get with the latency of our broadcast, but thank you to all you harvesters, and welcome to Napa Valley virtually. It's been a really exciting time to work with the Crisis Nursery team and all the incredible donors and benefactors to put this together virtually. As we all know, we've been living in this new world for a long time, and it was so important to be able to put something together that would be a tribute to you and all your generosity and the opportunities for us to be able to enjoy a wine tasting together for the VIP experience. So with that in mind, let's get started. First of all, I just want to say that I'm here on behalf of RBC, one of the major sponsors of this event, and specifically Kristen Kimmel, who is also one of the brains behind this incredible event and a huge supporter of Crisis Nursery. And I want to say just how important this is, and I'll link this very clearly to the providers of our wine in just a moment, because as we all know, our children's birthright is health, and that includes brain health. And so I love it that the Crisis Nursery is so focused on that. Of course, safety and education. And all of those things, though, sometimes don't come together when tough things happen. And so the Crisis Nursery is an extraordinary safety net for our little kids. And the truth is that we know if we take care of our kids, we take care of ourselves, and we take care of our futures. So let's get started tasting wine. And I want to give a shout out of thanks to Jackson Family Wines, who helped me curate this beautiful lineup of wines for you guys to taste. It is Jackson Family, those of you who are wine lovers on the broadcast, and if you're not, if you're just watching and not tasting the wine along, thank you. Thank you for joining us. And if you're with somebody who's tasting the wine and you're not, but you still want to smell it, it's pretty exciting just to smell the wines. But in any case, back to Jackson Family. Those of you who are wine lovers have probably sometime in your life tasted Kendall Jackson Chardonnay. So Jess Jackson, the founder of the company several decades ago, he's our late Jess Jackson. He passed away about 18 months ago, but we are indebted as a wine culture in California to Jackson Family because they took on the notion of vineyard stewardship and sustainability early in the game. And they also took on the mandate of community support and service and taking care of your local neighbors and friends. And so it's a perfect link up for the Crisis Nursery for us to be able to taste some wines from their stable. And these are very, very special estate wines from their vineyards that are farmed at the highest standards of sustainability, not just in environmental stewardship, but also taking care of people, their workers, their extended family, and their communities. So just like you're doing today. So let's get started. We have a wonderful Chardonnay. And everybody, hopefully you've pulled the corks. I know you have a fantastic charcuterie board of wonderful wine-worthy snacks from Gray's Local. I'm going to tell you what to pair with what, but of course you should nosh away and enjoy yourselves. And let's go ahead and just do a quick toast to your generosity. That is my way of saying, if you are not signed on to ClickBid yet, you better get going with that, right? You're going to be watching this broadcast on one device, hopefully your big screen TV. All right, not too big, please. And hopefully you've got the ClickBid interface open on your tablet or your phone, so you'll be able to bid, to chat, and all that good stuff. All right, so cheers to you guys and to the amazing mission of the Crisis Nursery. Okay, our Chardonnay, the winery name is Grand Moraine, and Moraine refers to a classic soil type that is extremely well suited to growing great wine grapes. Now, this is from the wine region within Oregon called Yamhill Carlton, which is just south of the Willamette Valley. And as we say in the wine business, it's not Willamette, it's Willamette. And so now you know, but this is the southern tip of that, Yamhill Carlton. And this particular property is very far west. And so they're very close to the Pacific Ocean. And you're going to hear time and again, when it comes to great classic quality wines, proximity to a body of water makes a big difference to the climate. And specifically for grape varieties like Chardonnay that love cool nights and warm sunny days, that is the perfect storm because they are very, very close to the Pacific Ocean and get those cool ocean breezes in the evening. Now, the Chardonnay grape originally hails from the Burgundy region of France. So if you've ever heard of French Chablis or French Meursault, things like that, same grape variety, but it is one of the most well-traveled and is a miraculous grape in the sense that it achieves extraordinary quality in some of the world's great wine regions beyond France, including, of course, California. But here, I really wanted you to taste this wonderful Oregon Chardonnay. So let's talk about how to taste, right? There's 5 steps to tasting like a pro. And I know you know how to drink, but if you taste, you use all of your senses, not just your taste buds, right? You're going to use your sense of sight when you look at the wine. You're going to use your sense of smell when you smell it, sense of texture or touch on the tongue. You're going to feel the temperature, the texture, the body, of course, the sense of taste, and even the sense of sound when you all clink your glasses together, which hopefully you're doing right now. So every sense is involved. So let's do the 5 S's. The first one is, some of you know it, see. We're going to look at the wine, and when it comes to Chardonnay, we almost always expect it to be a pretty vivid golden yellow, especially when it is fermented and aged in barrels made of oak, as is this wine. Using barrels was traditional just because barrels were convenient in the winery and shipping them in a cargo ship. But it turned out that barrels also gave a beautiful, rich, spicy, vanilla, toffee, caramelized quality. So we look at the wine, we see that beautiful golden color. The next thing we do is swirl. That's S number 2. So see, then swirl. And now we swirl the wine. And the reason we're doing that is we're aerating the wine so that we can really launch all of those complex aromas into the headspace of the glass where your nose can appreciate them. Now, S number 3, almost the most important. I know you're thinking, no, sip has to be that. But let me assure you that S number 3 is really critical, and that's smell. And the reason for that is that your nose is really responsible for most of the flavor that you taste. And I will explain. Your tongue tastes sweet, sour, bitter, salt, and umami. All right. So you probably remember that from 4th grade. Umami just came along a couple of decades ago. But when you were in 4th grade, you learned sweet, sour, bitter, salt. There's so much more to wine and food and the beautiful sausages and nuts and wonderful cheeses and fruits on your charcuterie board than sweet, sour, bitter, salt. There's actually flavor there, and flavor comes from smell. So that's what you have to do. You have to smell the wine. And when you smell a Chardonnay, you smell abundant fruit, very classically citrus fruits, very classically crisp apples. In this case, I almost get more baked apples. It's taking me into the fall season of apple pie coming right down the pike. And I'm getting that beautiful toasty vanilla, slightly spicy quality, which is absolutely beautiful and classic with barrel fermented California Chardonnay, Oregon Chardonnay. Okay, so now we've smelled it. Now we are finally to S number 4, C, swirl, smell, sip. Number 4, sip. So let's give it a go. And when I'm tasting wine as a professional, I usually let the wine really cover all parts of my palate because I want both to aerate the wine again in my mouth, and I also want to get the texture or the body. You're going to get acidity, crispness, but you're also going to get lusciousness of fruit. So let's give it a try. And then S number 5 is sip or savor, or in the case of my husband, steal. He's stealing a sip of the wine. You're welcome to. So I will just say that here, he's very excited to try it. All right, so it's all in the family here in wine country, as you can imagine. And I will say that here locally, he worked very hard on an initiative we had called Preschool for All, because one of the main indicators of school success is a child has attended preschool. So we're all about these charities that support our children in their most vulnerable state, which is when they're super young. All right, so back to the wine. It was see, swirl, smell, sip, savor. I spit the wine. He stole the wine, and he's back. All right, and it reminds me of swipe or no swiping, right? If you all had little kids, you remember that from the Dora the Explorer days. Okay. So beautiful, beautiful, crisp acidity that makes your mouth water. When your mouth waters, food tastes better. And that's why wine is the ideal condiment to food. It's got that acidity that takes the place of the squeeze of lemon on your shrimp cocktail or the slather of mustard on your hot dog or your hamburger. So speaking of food affinity, you've got a wonderful array of snacks here. But I'm going to suggest that you taste the Chardonnay with your almonds. And these are specific. They were a specific request of mine. And thank you, Grace, for this. They actually included them. These are truffled almonds, right? So a little bit of truffle salt with Marcona almonds. The Marcona almonds of Spain are higher in fat, higher in omegas, yay, health, and really, really creamy once you start to chew them up. So taste a little bit of the truffle almond, because the truffle gives you this toasty, earthy quality that really picks up that nice oak, mushroomy kind of toasty, nutty quality in the wine. And then you put the two together, and that acidity just cuts right through the fat of the almonds, the saltiness, and boom, right? Who needs dinner when you've got wine and truffle almonds? All right, so I hope you're enjoying that one. And I am going to be watching the chat. I think they're going to send through to me your questions. So if you're tasting the wine and you've got a question, we're going to try to answer as many as we can. I will say I'm so happy that all the VIP experience tickets sold out. And so if you don't get your question answered, you can always visit me on my website and send me a little note, and I will make sure to answer your question. Just remind me that we met at the Crisis Nursery Harvesting Hope event. And then I will know that my question came from somebody who didn't get a chance to get it through in the chat in the short amount of time that we have together. On that note, on we go. And my old mentor, Kevin Zraly from Windows on the World in New York City, which was on top of our beautiful World Trade Center there back in the day. It was the most famous wine cellar in the United States at the time. He used to say, all wine would be red if it could be red. So if you're a part of that camp, then we've gotten to your part of the tasting. But I will say, I just read it today. One of the great winemakers, David Ramey, said Chardonnay is the red wine of whites for two reasons. It's barrel aged very often, and a lot of whites are not. Your Pinot Grigios and your Sauvignon Blancs usually aren't. And also because it goes through a second type of fermentation or conversion called malolactic, Wine geeks call it ML for short because that's a lot of syllables, but it gives it that buttery quality, right? So if you smell that in the Chardonnay, that's because malolactic fermentation gives it that buttery quality. So it's the red wine of whites, but now we jump into red. We have two different grapes. I don't mean to send you scampering to the kitchen, but if you have a second glass where you can look at both red wines side by side, it's a really cool idea. And specifically, if you've got a napkin, a paper towel, a piece of white paper, I want you to look at these two red wines against a white background, both of them together. And what you're going to see is you've got a very pale, beautiful Pinot Noir. You're going to notice that you can see through it. It's actually translucent. And then the second wine, or the third wine, the second red, the Cabernet Sauvignon, Stone Street Estate, is almost opaque. It's very dark ruby with a purple tinge to it. So why is that? Well, when it comes to red wines, the juice of the grapes, whether it's Pinot Noir or Cabernet Sauvignon or Merlot or your Malbec from Argentina, your Sangiovese from Italy, your Shiraz from Australia, the juice of the grapes is clear. So for the red wine to get the color, they soak the juice with the skins and it picks up the color pigment. The reason Pinot Noir is paler is because the skins are thinner. And so you can see through the wine. There's also another component that comes from the skins of the red grapes, and you're going to notice it in both wines, but in different proportions. And that's tannin or tannic acid. It is a natural component of skins and stems and seeds of grapes. Many other plants have it because it's a protector against being eaten by, say, an insect, right? Why is that? Because it gives this drying sensation on the tongue, which in balance with the fruit and the body and the richness of the wine is actually a positive, but it needs to be in balance. And so you're going to see what that looks like in two different grape varieties. So we've got thinner skins giving us less color in Pinot Noir, thicker skins giving us more color in Cabernet Sauvignon, but we also have thinner skins giving us less tannin in Pinot versus more tannin in the Cabernet Sauvignon. So now we've looked at them, we've talked about what we're looking for, but let's go ahead and smell the Pinot Noir. And a classic descriptor for Pinot Noir in terms of the fruit profile is cherry. Red fruits, red currants, red cranberries, red cherries, sometimes strawberry, raspberry. So if you are getting a bowl of red summer berries in the glass, then you are right on the money. And it's very, very distinctive taste profile and smell profile to Pinot Noir. This particular one is from California, and it is from one of California's signature Pinot Noir regions called the Russian River Valley. And that is the Russian River Valley. If you turn the bottle around the back, you're going to see of Sonoma County, because labeling within the Sonoma County region, they have different little sub-pockets, just like your cities and towns do. Or if you've ever been to Manhattan, you know, there's Chelsea, there's Hell's Kitchen, there's the Village, there's, you know, the Upper West Side. Well, the wine regions like Sonoma County and Napa Valley also have their little subzones. The Russian River Valley is particularly suited to the Pinot Noir grape because the Russian River has cuts west to east, or east to west, going into the Pacific Ocean. And it creates a gap in the coastal mountain range where the cool breezes come through and cool it down and give morning fog that doesn't burn off until lunchtime most days. So the grape variety Pinot Noir loves cool climates. That's why the Russian River Valley within Sonoma County is perfect for the Pinot Noir grape. All right, so we've smelled that. We got our red fruits. Now let's jump over. I know you're like, well, can I taste it? But I want you to smell the Cabernet first. If you're ahead of me, that's okay. But we're going to swirl that and now smell it. And what you're going to notice here is a really different fruit profile. Very classically, Cabernet Sauvignon is more black fruits, dark fruits. Blackberry's classic, black plum, sometimes fig or blueberry. For me, this is all blackberry and a bit of cedar. And I'm just going to throw it in there and get real geeky on you. And I get a little bit of crushed spearmint, almost like you just opened a pack of gum, right? And that's really classic to to Cabernet Sauvignon from this region. The Stone Street Estate Vineyards. Estate means they own or control all the vineyards, so they control the fruit and the farming from the grape to the glass. And if you think about it, the ingredients have to be the most important thing in the wine or anything else, food, what have you. And so if they control the quality of the grapes, they control the quality of the wine. So let's flip this bottle around, and what you're going to see here is Alexander Valley of Sonoma County. It's more inland. It's further away from the ocean. It's much warmer. Cabernet likes warmer weather. So that's why Cabernet grows so well in the Alexander Valley versus Pinot Noir, much more suited to Russian River. In fact, I don't know that there's any Cabernet planted in Russian River, and I don't think there's any Pinot Noir planted in Alexander Valley, right? Just like you wouldn't necessarily plant pineapples and mangoes in Minneapolis because it wouldn't be suited climate-wise. Well, the grapes have to be planted where the climate suits them. And the Jackson Family Wine Company is pretty much the experts in doing that, and have been for many, many decades, identifying prime vineyard regions, prime vineyard opportunities, and then suiting the grape to the place. All right, so now we've got our red fruited Pinot Noir. When you taste it, I want you to obviously focus on those beautiful berry flavors, but also focus on the texture, okay? Because we got to remember, we're tasting not just for flavor, we're tasting for texture. That's why French fries are crispy and not mushy in the best case scenario. So go ahead and taste that. Okay. Wow, that's a beautiful, beautiful red cherry fruit. Takes me back to my childhood. Halloween's coming up. Cherry Twizzlers, I know, guilty pleasure. Cherry Lifesavers, Cherry Jolly Rancher. You got the idea. All right. So, but you're also getting that textural thing, that little bit of the drying sensation on your tongue that's just a little bit tacky. And this is where we need to bring in some food, because when you have some tannin, a great way to counterbalance the tannin, which dries out the surface of your tongue, is with a little bit of fat and protein. So I think you have some berry crusted goat cheese as part of your food selection there. Have a little taste of that with this Pinot Noir. You're going to see that the tanginess of the goat cheese and the acidity in the wine actually tone each other down. So the fruit explodes out more and the creaminess of the cheese comes forward, but it also coats your palate and protects it against that drying sensation, that just subtle tug of tannin. And it's absolutely a beautiful, beautiful combination. It will probably make you do what I do, which is keep some fresh goat cheese in my refrigerator at all times. It's just one of those things that it can solve a lot of problems, especially if friends arrive at the last minute and you didn't know to expect them. So beautiful job, Grace, for this wonderful selection. It's a perfect, perfect choice for the Pinot Noir. All right, so we have just a few more minutes, enough time for our Cabernet Sauvignon. So we're going to give that a swirl and a smell. And I know we already talked about the black fruit and the mint and the cedar. So let's go ahead and give it a try. And again, texture, I want you to focus on that. Here we go. Wow. Okay, so if you thought you had tannin in the Pinot Noir, now you've got the tannin really coming at you in the Cabernet. That's what makes Cabernet, as opposed to Pinot Noir, the longer ager, because one of the components in wine, aside from acidity, that preserves it for cellaring is tannin. It acts as a preservative. Having said that, these wines, they will get better with age, but they're delicious now. And I think as part of this, you've been given a special exclusive discount or something like that from Jackson Family. So if you order more, no reason not to get a couple of bottles and save a couple for the future. If you don't have great storage, stick them under the bed where it's dark and vibration free and the temperature doesn't change too much. You'll be just fine. All right, so we got tannin. We need to counterbalance it. Now, you know the drill. I could set you loose, but I'm going to do you a really big favor. There's going to be two tastes here. First thing is you've got some Manchego cheese, which is your semi-firm little, I think it's a triangle in your selection there. Taste a little bit of the Manchego cheese. It's similar in taste profile to Parmigiano Reggiano, but a little less salty, which I like. and a little bit softer. So it's going to just coat the palate and really sort of give it almost like a Teflon coating against the tannin in the wine, right? So what you're going to get is all the complexities of that cedary and that beautiful blackberry fruit with the tannin just toned down the littlest bit. It's why when we go to a steakhouse, we serve the big California cabs with the steaks, right? Okay, so that is a delicious combination. Sometimes people ask me, and sorry, that's the dog. Sometimes people ask me, should I taste the food first and then the wine, or should I taste the wine and then the food? Well, what I do is I usually take a little bite of the food, start to chew it, start to swallow, and then chase it with the wine before it's all gone. How does that sound? All right, so give that a try. And now, our last homework assignment, but we're doing it right here. So it's schoolwork assignment because we're in a little mini wine school here before your bidding starts for the Harvesting Hope. You've got some dark chocolate. This, I promise you, will change your life. Okay, maybe not, but it did me when I tried it. Super dark chocolate. You want it to be like 80% cocoa or higher, 75, 80, something like that. And take a little bite of the chocolate, start to chew it, let it melt, and then taste the Cabernet. Mm. And if you've ever had one of those warm, flourless chocolate cakes with raspberry coulis, then you know what I'm talking about here. We've got that beautiful, deep, dark, lusty chocolate taste without it being overly sugary. You don't want a sugary chocolate with a dry wine because that will bring the fruit down and make the wine taste a little bit tart. Here, this works absolutely beautifully. So it's one of my favorite combinations. And that is the other thing you keep in my refrigerator at all times is some dark chocolate to go with my California Cabernet. So I'm wondering what you thought of these wines. I would love to know. Maybe I'll pop over and see if I can look at the chat a little bit on my own screen here. Oh, I'm seeing lots of chat stuff. Okay. The wine tasting's really fun. Thank you, Megan. And any questions that people want to ask? Okay, K Profit likes the suggestion to store wine under the bed. Hey, man, I'm telling you, until I got here to Napa Valley and we had more space, when I lived in Manhattan, my wine cellar was under the bed. Bottom of the coat closet is another great idea as well. So not to worry there. So a couple quick things about the red wines. Actually, all of these wines have been aged in barrels. We talked about it with the Chardonnay, but with the Pinot Noir and the Cabernet, both were also aged in barrels. French oak barrels, they are very subtle and they give that beautiful vanilla spice quality to the wine that we talked about. A little bit more oak time for the Cabernet Sauvignon because it's a fuller bodied wine, so it can handle longer time in oak, right? So I'm happy to take any questions that people have, but I know that we only have about 3 minutes before your auction starts. And I just want to say that there is, if you didn't get enough wine tasting with me, there is a live lot that you should check out. And it is a private tasting with me. We'll be sending out tasting kits as well as full bottles. So tasting kits with minis, so we can taste 5 different wines plus an olive oil, and then full bottles of those wines. And we will schedule it at your convenience with you and your friends or your quarantine pod. This is a lot that I personally am very, very excited about, more than honored to host and be a part of. And so I really, really hope that you will remember how important this charity is, how much our little children both count on us and deserve to be able to count on us. So please, please, please consider bidding on that. It will also include abundant quantities of my wine glass, which is called the One. I believe in your literature, you've also been given a discount code for the glasses for yourself if you don't purchase the lot and you would like to purchase some. And if that's not true, I'm sure Nikki and the team and Erica and the team at Crisis Nursery will tell me so that I can make sure all of you who took your time and your generosity to spend this half an hour with me, and then the next bit of time with your friends, your neighbors, your quarantine pod, your community, taking care of these babies and their moms and their families in tough times. I think we all know that everybody has tough times, but trauma is totally different, isn't it? And so I think we have to realize that without a crisis nursery, somebody can really, really get on the wrong path, and it doesn't have to be. So thanks to you guys, we'll be taking care of our future leaders, our future neighbors and friends, and the people who will be taking care of us and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. So let's do the right thing by them right now. Just by tuning in, you've done so. I really, really appreciate it. Anne asked, what does oaked Chardonnay mean? Getting off my soapbox there for a second, Anne, I'm sorry, I will ask you this. Oaked means that the wine has been either fermented or aged or both in a barrel. Alternatively, it's very common that wine gets fermented and aged in stainless steel tanks. Nowadays, they're using all kinds of even ancient vessels like clay amphora and kind of experimenting with the old ways, which is neat. But when you use a barrel as opposed to a stainless tank, think about why we cook in stainless steel. It's neutral. It doesn't do anything to the food. It doesn't impart any character. Oaked means that using oak barrels to ferment and age the wine has typically imparted some of that richer, toastier character to the wine. So thank you, Anne, for asking that. I think it's time for the auction. So I'm going to let my moderator maybe send me a quick chat note. But otherwise, I will say my website, AndreaWine.com. You can contact me there. If you're coming out to Napa Valley Wine Country and Sonoma Wine Country, where these wines are from, you should let me know. Just say, hey, I'm a Crisis Nursery donor, and I'll do the best I can to help you. But in the meantime, I hope you've got yourself teed up to open the click bid and enjoy this wonderful evening with your friends and family, taking care of your community. Love you all. Take care.
Well, good evening, friends, and welcome to the first ever Greater Minneapolis Crisis Nursery Virtual Harvesting Hope. We're coming to you live from the Brave New Workshop. Turns out it was open tonight, and I am thrilled to be joined at a distance, of course, with Glenn Flatabow, because we've all been living in this virtual world for a while, but we're pretty good at it. But if you run into any trouble with the show, our troubleshooting guide is on our site at crisisnursery.org. /harvesting hope. Glenn, it's been a bit.
It has been a while, Jana. I am delighted to be with you tonight. You and I are going to have a blast with this. We're going to have a blast. Thank you, everyone, for rallying and gathering. Tonight's an important night. And even though this year looks different for events, the mission for the Crisis Nursery remains the same, and perhaps even stronger. Families in our community are in crisis. They are in need now more than ever. And tonight, all of us as a community can be a part of the solution in supporting the nursery.
You're absolutely right, Glenn. We've all been experiencing this pandemic for so much longer than we ever thought we would. And the families who already were at the highest level of need are struggling more than they ever have. They are unjustly the ones hit the hardest by COVID-19, and the next 6 to 9 months for them are going to be crucial. We're heading into winter, you know that. And these families are already living paycheck to paycheck, and soon there'll be more heating bills, rent's going to be due, groceries, other things like that. So what happens if a family can't make rent? Where do the kids sleep that night?
And Jana, that's why tonight is so important. The nursery provides immediate help for families in crisis. Together, we are a support system for families. You are a part of the solution tonight. Tonight, you can help us lift up others in our community. Jana, our goal tonight with this event, and we're going to do this, is to raise $150,000 with our Fund a Need Giving Moment. And I couldn't be more thrilled to let everyone know tonight that we have a very significant gift, a gift of $50,000 that's being given tonight as a match from longtime supporters Lisa and Jerry O'Brien. Let's take a minute to listen to why Lisa and Jerry are making that gift.
Hi, we're Jerry and Lisa O'Brien.
And we're excited to join you at this year's Harvesting Hope. 2020 has been stressful, and for families at the Greater Minneapolis Crisis Nursery who experience extreme poverty, violence, and homelessness, it's been particularly difficult and lonely. Now more than ever, families need to know they're not alone. We give to the Crisis Nursery because the nursery has always been there. For 37 years, families have felt comfortable bringing their children to the nursery and getting support and safety. We would like you to join us in making a donation tonight, so the nursery is there for years to come.
When Lisa says join us, we really mean join us. Tonight, we're going to match all of your donations, dollar for dollar, up to $50,000. We'll feel like we've been successful if we can make our auctioneer, Glenn, speechless.
So please join us, and cheers. Cheers to you, your family, your health, and your generous spirit.
Cheers. Enjoy the evening.
Enjoy the evening.
Jerry and Lisa, number one, we could not be more thankful for all that you've done. Thank you for the gift of $50,000. I do want to share with everyone at home 2 things about Jerry and Lisa. Last week, matter of fact, I had a chance to talk to Jerry on the phone about why they're doing this gift. And here's what he told me. He said, Glenn, when Lisa and I looked around the entire community for a nonprofit to support, the reason why we're getting behind the Crisis Nursery and the reason why we've done this for years is because we believe that we could be immediate help to families in a crisis. The second thing Jerry said is he said, the staff, the leadership, we have entire confidence that our gifts are being used to the highest and greatest available need. Jerry and Lisa, again, we cannot thank you enough. I will be speechless, Jana, when we reach this $150,000 goal. We're going to do this together. Again, thank you, Jerry and Lisa, for all that you've done.
I'm waiting for that moment, and you're going to have to help us all get there to 150, and let's push it beyond that, because that means, Glenn, how long will you go speechless if we get to, let's say, 200?
A couple minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do better. All right. So I'm excited to have that gift already. That is momentum going towards that goal of 150K. This is going to be an epic night. So I would like to raise our glass. Sorry, Glenn, you can't have one. You're busy being speechless.
I'm social distancing.
To all of our amazing attendees out there, and especially those who have been a part of Harvesting Hope for the last 16 years. Thank you for joining us tonight. And before we really get this thing started, I just want to make sure that everyone is registered to bid below. You're not going to want to miss out on any of the great items that we have for you to bid on. Cheers.
Yes, again, cheers to everyone at home. Thank you, everyone, for being with us tonight. And we're going to kick things off tonight by bringing back a fan favorite. Now, Jana is super excited about this. We're going to have a blast with this. This is the Cake Frenzy. It is brought to us tonight by Doran Leadership Partners. So many of you know during our in-person live events, things get crazy when we auction off these cakes, okay? And nothing gets people more excited than our signature cake, which is given to us, of course, by Keith Johnson. He's our nursery food service coordinator. So here's how this is going to work, everybody. When we start, you're going to have 2 minutes to bid on these 5 cakes, okay? You're going to have 2 minutes to bid on these cakes. Jana and I will give everybody a countdown. Then you can go to bid. You go to the auction page on the bidding platform on ClickBid. They're the first 5 items, okay? And we're going to give everybody 2 minutes, though. Even though you're not getting the cake tonight, you're going to get a gift certificate to receive the cake. Jana, one thing, you and I had a conversation this week about this moment, and you said something to me that I've thought a lot about. Oh. This is not just an opportunity to buy a cake. This is an opportunity that you could sear something in your brain forever. So let's just say that somebody spent $5,000 on one of these cakes. Yeah. You would never, ever forget tonight. That's how big of a deal this is.
No, you get to tell the story for the rest of your life. Remember that time I spent $5,000 on a cake to help the kids and help crisis families in need?
Exactly.
It's a great story. You want to tell that story every holiday season.
Absolutely. Here we go. Are you ready? We're going to count it off.
Ready.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can bid for the next 2 minutes on our cakes. Now, Jan, I'm going to have you hit the highlights. These are some amazing cakes.
Yeah, amazing cakes. Amazing cakes.
We've got the patty cake.
Yep.
We've got the pumpkin and cream cheesecake. The letter cookie cake. By the way, I just added this, Jana. Anyone who spends $500 on this, you get to co-host the cake auction next year with Jana, okay? So Lisa O'Brien, if you bid $500, Lisa, you are co-hosting this cake auction next year. Hopefully it's not virtual.
The specific cake auction.
Yes.
I mean, all of these, I would even, well beyond $500. I mean, look at this. Keith Johnson has made my wedding cake, so I could just go home and freeze that. This thing, look at that. It's a pumpkin fest. This is the fall harvest.
Oh my gosh.
Here.
So we've got an $80 bid on Keith Johnson. We've got an $80 bid on the Yum Patty Cake. We have an $80 bid on Thirsty Whale Cake. You've got 1 minute left. Okay, keep the bid increments, by the way, are $5 a bid increment. Every time you bid, you're making a huge difference. 50 seconds, Jana. We only have 55 seconds left.
Yeah, well, we're at $90 for Keith Johnson, who always just brings in the heat for this mama right here. But I want to see all these cakes go for $100. I mean, come on. We're already at 95, 80, 75. That's easy peasy.
You sound like a great auctioneer, by the way, right now. She's perfect. So we're at $95.
It's been in my backup career, you know, less.
Exactly. Did you ever think that you'd be hosting a cake auction with me virtually?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
30 seconds, everybody. 30 seconds. Oh, we're at the $100 mark.
$100 for the Keith Johnson cake. This is awesome. Cake Frenzy. Did you think you would be hosting a Cake Frenzy auction?
I didn't, but there's only 20 seconds left. The bids are going higher as we speak right now. The pink champagne cake is at $90. So again, have fun. 10 seconds. We're going to count it down. 9, 8, 7, multiple.
We're almost on $100 for all of them. All of them. All of them. The sweet retreat cake. You can do it.
And it's over. Thank you, everyone that raised about $500 for the nursery. We appreciate everybody bidding on our cake auction. Jana, that was fun.
I was sweating.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I was sweating.
It was.
You?
Well, I was anticipating this moment. Yes, yes, exactly.
All right, well, that was something. And now I'd also like to draw everyone's attention to our fantastic signature auction items that can also be viewed down below on the bottom of your screen. All live and silent auction items are open until 9 o'clock tonight. And Glenn, because we are live, you and I can see what's happening for bidding and donating. So we'd like you to keep it coming.
Amazing items. Matter of fact, over the years at the Crisis Nursery, I've been the auctioneer for many, many years. We've had remarkably strong bidding on the auction. So thank you, everyone, for bidding over the years. Thank you for your donations tonight. We've got some amazing items. The first item tonight, this is a big deal, everybody. This is a trip to Vail, Colorado. Jana, tell us about item number 1.
I can do that. It's Jana, not Vanna. Ski vacation in Vail. You'll get a 6-night stay in Vail, Colorado, only 150 yards from the Eagle Bond Gondola. Creekside, 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom condo, sleeps at least 8 people. Creekside pool, hot tub, slopeside ski valet, drivable vacation. That's important right now, and this is donated by Joel Connor. Let's go to Vail, Glenn.
All right, everybody. Item number one, by the way, the current bid is $3,500. Typically, that's like a $5,500 to $6,000 item. It's a remarkable gift. You can negotiate when you use it anytime in the coming year. It's an awesome item. It sleeps 8 people in Vail. Remarkable gift. The more you spend on this, by the way, the more fun it'll be. There is tons of room to keep bidding on item number one. I love package number two. In January, we are all going to desire this package.
Package number two. Oh yeah. Okay. This is a week in Playa del Carmen and an in-home dinner. A week-long stay in a stunning 2-bedroom penthouse, a huge rooftop terrace that overlooks Cozumel and the Caribbean, a huge jacuzzi, 2 bedrooms and loft, comfortably sleeps at least 5 adults, and it includes optional in-home dinner with live mariachi band and $1,000 towards airfare. Wow. The donor's going to work with you on a date that is mutually agreeable, including into 2022. This is donated by Jay and Judy Heschler, the parents of Lizzie Horvitz.
By the way, a personal thank you to Lizzie, your family, Jay and Judy for that donation. That is an awesome item. Again, as Jana said, you can use it into 2022. The current bid, by the way, is $2,500. There's a $1,000 gift card towards airfare with the trip. It's really about a $5,500 value. It sleeps 5 adults. It's an awesome item. Jana just told me before we started, she's guaranteeing you perfect weather. So the price went up. Thank you, Jana, for that.
I totally have the corner on the Caribbean weather market.
That's right.
That's me.
Here we go. Item number 3, there has been robust bidding in the last 10 minutes. This is a big deal. Jana, tell us about our wine package.
All right, virtual wine tasting with our host from earlier tonight, Andrea Robinson. A 2-hour private virtual wine tasting with Andrea. She's going to share her wine buyer's toolbox of tasting terms to make even everyday meals a little bit more special. We really need that. Now that we're having dinner at home, it'd be kind of cool to really know what you're talking about with the wine. The winner in this will receive 5 4-pack sets of the one stemware, plus 10 mini tasting kits. That's 5 wines and 1 olive oil. 1 full-size bottle of each of the featured wines, and it's donated by who else? Andrea Robinson.
Andrea, thank you. On behalf of all of us in Minnesota, thank you for your donation. The bid is at $5,000. It's a $7,500 value. This is a great opportunity. We so appreciate your generosity and your donation tonight. Have fun bidding on the wine package. By the way, bidding is a lot easier when you're on your 3rd glass of wine. So pour yourself another glass of wine. And by the way, it's working,
it's totally
Jana.
working.
We're at $4,000 on Vail, so the price went up. Here's another trip. It's the Ocean City condo that we're selling next.
Bidding's like tweeting. Just on your 3rd drink, it really starts to get good. Okay, the Ocean City condo trip is trip number 4. You get a 1-week stay in Ocean City, Maryland, in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo located right next to the sand and surf in North Ocean City. There's a private balcony there, so you can check out the ocean in a private way. Shops, activities, restaurants, all within walking distance. And you can choose from dates in 2021 or 2022. All of that important right now. This, too, is a drivable vacation, and it's donated by Ann McCarthy.
And by the way, Ann is a friend of the nursery. She's given this gift to us a number of times. Matter of fact, we've sold this at the event a number of times. I've heard great feedback on this item. It's actually a very rare item to get, the trip to Ocean City. The current bid, by the way, is $1,500. This will be the buy of the night if anyone buys this less than $4,000. Again, it sleeps 6 people. Have a great time bidding on package number 4. It's the Ocean City trip. The bids are going up, Jana. We're now at $4,500 on our Playa del Carmen trip. Thank you for all of your support. The wine's at $5,500. Here's our last item. This is a unique item.
Before we get to the last item, I mean, all of the things that we're talking about here are things that you can look forward to. Places you can go with people you love and care about when we're able to do those kinds of things again. So I think that these are, and you're helping out the Crisis Nursery by doing this. So you're really investing in something to look forward to, and you're investing in the immediate needs for our kids right now. All right, I'm off my soapbox. It's done. Number 5, the Mom Enough Parenting Session by Drs. Marty and Erin Erickson. This is pretty unique. A 60-minute session dedicated to helping parents navigate our new abnormal. It's perfect for a neighborhood or a school, a faith group, a local parent group, or just a group of friends. When you're all asking yourself, what should we do? The winner can choose the topic, like sibling rivalry. Does that happen?
A little bit, once in a while.
Good to know. That's still a thing. It's been a while since I was a kid. You can choose the topic: sibling rivalry and general stress during the time, managing time. I know parents are trying to figure that out, and space, while everybody's in the house at the same time. It's helping our children with anxiety and depression during this unusual time as well. This, again, is donated by Doctors Marty and Aaron Erickson. This is a pretty cool and unique gift that's so needed.
And by the way, again, everybody, you can bid on all 5 of these items until 9 p.m. tonight. That last item, a very unique mission-based item. Jana, I was thinking about this. The current bid is only $500 to start bidding. That is a very small price to pay to become a perfect parent. So if you, I mean, for under $1,000.
I didn't know item number 5 was become a perfect parent.
Well, that's how I was looking at it as a dad. So, by the way, before we move on, I do want to take one moment, Jana, to thank you for all that you've done for the Crisis Nursery. Thank you for hosting tonight. Thank you for hosting our in-person events. We appreciate, Jana, you so much, being a spokesperson for the nursery.
Well, I think, know this story, but this was kind of very sweet for me. I moved in the last 2 years to South Minneapolis, and I noticed just this summer, I kept seeing this one group of kids walk around a neighborhood pond. And then I realized that I was just blocks away from the Crisis Nursery, and I thought, oh my goodness. Is it coming full circle? Am I seeing the kids that are benefiting from this Crisis Nursery? I'm seeing their faces light up, seeing how much fun they're having with the people that are taking care of them at that time, and seeing nature and seeing ducks and seeing the trees. I get to see it in real life, and I promise you, the investment you make in those kids tonight matters, because I've seen it in person. So I appreciate being here. It is my honor to help those kids, and I know it is yours as well, and their parents. So yeah, those are great items, and they're going to be a lot of fun for you to experience. But the most important thing is that you're ensuring that our kids and families stay safe. Mm-hmm. It's not just about going to Ocean City or getting a nice bottle of wine or a glass of wine. That's pretty cool. But what matters here is community. What matters here is that when we all do better, we all do better. So we got to remember that. Great stuff. And those live items are open for bidding until the end of our program tonight. And of course, we know that the Crisis Nursery has amazing staff members that take care of those kids, the one I saw walking them around the park. And I know how much they've had to pivot to respond to all of the crises in our community, especially in South Minneapolis where they're located. And I'm excited to introduce longtime Executive Director Mary Pat Lee to share a message about what's been happening lately at the nursery.
Thank you, Glenn and Jana. Gosh, it's great to see you guys. Good evening, everyone. We're thrilled to have all of you joining us tonight for our first virtual Harvesting Hope. We're grateful for everyone's continued support of the nursery during these unprecedented times. We're especially grateful for our continued partnership with Haskell's Minnetonka and our new friends, Andrea Robinson and Jackson Family Wine. And of course, this event would not be possible without the support of our sponsors. Thank you for your generosity. I'd like to recognize our Harvesting Hope Committee, led by Nikki Grimius. I'm pretty sure when she agreed to head up our event again this year, this wasn't exactly the type of event she had in mind. Thank you as well to Jody Mooney, Megan Goodrich, Kristen Kimmel, and Michelle Schultz for their work on this event. Amazing work, team. Thank you. I also want to recognize our board of directors for their continued support and dedication to the nursery. And while volunteering has not looked the same these past 8 months, we continue to be grateful for all of our nursery volunteers. We look forward to a time when we can physically welcome you back to the nursery. And now I'd like to share some updates from the nursery. At this moment, all of our services are up and running. We're caring for children in our overnight residential program. We're answering crisis calls, and our staff is working tirelessly to help families meet critical needs. We are virtually providing home visiting and mental health services so that families can continue to receive the long-term support of these programs. I'm humbled by our amazing staff, whose dedication to the nursery ensured that we were able to reopen safely. Their continued commitment to provide support to those who need it most, to those that lack access to basic needs, is inspiring. Through all of the challenges this year, our staff worked tirelessly to provide the concrete support for the families that need it most. The Crisis Nursery is a place of hope, a place that's safe and free of judgment. It's here to support our community during these difficult times. I invite you to take a few moments to hear thoughts from some of our staff about their work and the impact of the nursery on our community.
People who use our services are generally single African American women in their 20s. They are dealing with living under the poverty line. Most of them make $10,000 or less. Very isolated, few support systems, food insecurity, housing insecurity. So it's just really a very difficult way of life that our clients are dealing with through no fault of their own, but it's just their reality. We are extremely unique in the fact that we provide this level of service to our families with regard to our whole continuum of services. Most agencies focus on one specific level. We couple residential with in-home based services, which is invaluable. They open the door for us. They welcome us in. That is so powerful and unique in what we do.
The principle of meeting parents and also meeting children where they are and just accepting that without judgment. And I think that's a message that is not super common right now in our society. I think parents are met across the board with a lot of judgment for what they're doing and how they're doing it. I think the greatest benefit that children get from coming to the crisis nursery is they have the chance to learn that I can have a trusted adult partner who's going to be there for me and who, no matter what happens, is going to make it safe for me.
There is such a strong focus on supporting parents because we know that that is the best way to ultimately support a child. But success really looks like getting to see parents be pleased with their relationship with their child and to feel confident that they're doing a really good job. Success looks like me kind of working myself out of a job.
If we did not exist, it would present a huge challenge for the families that we deal with. In my mind, I know that people do whatever they need to do to survive. Would that mean that they would leave their underage children alone? Quite possibly. If we weren't there, it would be a huge deficit in the community that we serve.
I don't know what more there is to say other than I think we can all agree the work that the Greater Minneapolis Crisis Nursery does is absolutely critical for our community. The next 6 to 9 months are going to be so important, and you can help make it better for people. You can be a part of the solution. These families don't have places to turn to other than this crisis nursery in many instances, so you provide, the concrete support for them. Donate tonight to help lift those single moms up who just need a break for a night or two. Again, our goal tonight is to raise just $150,000, and we have that $50,000 match out there from the O'Briens.
And Jana, the great news is the meter keeps ticking up. We are now over halfway towards our goal of raising $150,000. We're at $76,200. I do want to say one thing because I was moved by this video as well. Thank you to the staff. It is so inspiring to hear the staff share their words. So Jana, we've come to a moment that is really important. As you mentioned, the next 6 to 9 months are absolutely critical for these families. The world continues to change in response to the current crises that are compounding and disproportionately affecting families that are in use of the nursery. This is especially true for families of color who encounter racism, oppression, and are disproportionately affected by coronavirus. The dollars we raise tonight will help support and lift these families up. As Jana just said, our goal is to raise $150,000, and it'll help protect children and provide concrete support for their families. Let's take a look right now on how you can make a difference.
This year, more than any other, parents who depend on Greater Minneapolis Crisis Nursery are struggling to keep their children safe. 92% of the parents who partner with the nursery are parenting alone. Most make as little as $10,000 a year, and nearly half of these families are homeless. Tragically, families with the highest level of need are also being hit hardest and suffering most from the pandemic. They face a greater risk of contracting the virus, and underlying conditions make coronavirus more debilitating and deadly. And when you compound poverty and the risk of coronavirus with systemic racism, parents in our community find themselves at a breaking point. Greater Minneapolis Crisis Nursery is a place of hope and transformation for the poorest and most at-risk families among us. The nursery acknowledges the incredible strength it takes for parents to ask for help. We respond with respect and provide support without bias or judgment. When you donate to the Crisis Nursery, you are providing a long-term solution for children and families. Join us today in partnering with parents, protecting children, and providing concrete support for their families.
It really is our job as adult humans in the world to help these kids. That's why we're here. 2020 has been a challenging year, and it's not over yet. But the good news is tonight we can gather as a community and rally around this crisis nursery and be a part of a solution. We can fix something here together tonight, just for a little bit. We can give those moms that night off. We can give those kids that pancake breakfast in the morning they so often wake up to at the nursery. By donating towards our $150,000 goal, we can give families access to the resources they need to meet their basic needs, to get help with parenting issues, and to maintain a resource to manage the stress caused by COVID.
That's exactly right, Jana. Right now, we can make a difference. Let's go ahead and click that donate button down below on your screens and keep this fund in need going. By the way, we're over $87,000 already. With your generous gift tonight, we will continue to provide critical support for families in need during these amazing and unprecedented times. Any amount helps and every gift is valued. And Jana, look at some of these amazing donations that are coming in tonight. Absolutely remarkable. I need to thank Lizzie and Greg Horvitz for all that they've done. They're giving a gift tonight of $10,000. Lizzie has served on our board and this committee. Lizzie and Greg, thank you so much. It's a $10,000 gift. We have a $5,000 gift from the Kimmels tonight. Kristen and Robert Kimmel are giving $5,000. Kristen and Robert, thank you. The Mooney family, they've done so much for us. Jody and Mike Mooney are giving $5,000. Thank you to Jody and Mike Mooney for that donation. The Grimius family, they are giving a gift of $2,500. That's another $2,500. And we have a gift of $1,500 that just came in from Dave and Susan Roberts. We're at just under $100,000 right now. Just
we're not.
$104,000. We're watching the needle go. We can do this together. The O'Briens will match every gift dollar for dollar up to $50,000. We can close this gap and raise $150,000. Thank you, everyone, for all that you're doing to rally behind kids in our entire community.
And Glenn just mentioned all of the individuals that are giving right now, and it's hopefully inspiring some of you to give what you can. I get it. Not every family can give $5,000, and that's okay. Like I said, like Senator Wellstone said, we all do better when we all do better. If it's $100, that's fine. If it's $200, that's great. If it's $15 a month, we will take it. Please keep bidding and donating throughout the night. And Glenn, let's check out those signature items that we talked about before.
They are. The bids have been robust. Matter of fact, the bids on a number of our trips have went up significantly. They're going to pull up the screen in just a second. Thank you for all of your bidding during the auction. By the way, Jana, your promotion is working. Listen to this. The Playa del Carmen trip is at $6,500. That's an awesome trip. Lizzie's family gave us that. We have the virtual wine tasting that's now at $5,500. The trip to Vail, Colorado, that's still a good buy. That's at $4,500. The Ocean City trip is at $2,500. That's a great opportunity. Keep those bids coming. Thank you for all of your Fund to Need pledges. Have fun bidding. Again, the auction closes at 9 p.m. tonight.
And Playa del Carmen, I think it's going for $6,500 because you said that I said the weather would be nice.
That's right. Yes.
All right. Well, I guarantee it if you throw that up to $9 grand. Say it right now.
And if at 19,000, Jana goes with you, right? Yes.
And I bring cakes.
Yes.
And we have a frenzy.
Yes. Live from Mexico.
Right?
Yes.
Let's do that next year. We'll just record a few bits for it. And
by the way, listen to this. The auction total right now is at $149,100 total. That's remarkable. Again, thank you for all of your support tonight. Thank you for bidding. Have fun with all these auction items. We also want to thank all of our auction donors for all of their support.
Glenn, you have to stop talking because we hit $155,000, so you've been rendered speechless. This has been incredible. Thank you so much. And we want to really thank our sponsors, RBC Wealth Management, Bellisio Foods, PNC, Mary Zimmer, Knock Inc., U.S. Bank, Medtronic, Jennifer and John Salveson, and a special thanks to Jackson Family Winery, Andrea Robinson, and Haskell's, Minnesota. On behalf of Mary Pat Lee, the Board of Directors, and the staff and volunteers at the Greater Minneapolis Crisis Nursery, I want to thank you. I can't do this part. I want to thank you for your support. Do not forget the live auction items. I'm sorry. It's the end of a long week, and it's for the kids. The silent auction items will remain open until 9 o'clock, so get the last-minute bids in. Thank you.
And Jana, one last word. The Fund to Need, I think we're going to try to give a total. The Fund to Need, they're going to pull it up right now. The Fund to Need, listen to this, is at $128,000 for a Fund to Need. So we only have $22,000. My gosh, I went to Hamlin. My math is not that great. Left to get to $150,000. One last thing, Jenna, again, thank you for all that you've done. We could not be more thankful to have you here.
You know, those kids, I tell you, they take that walk around the park and they get me every time. We can do this, you guys.
We can do it.
We can. You know, those kids looking at me the whole time.
Awesome.